Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So first and foremost, some of you from Weeble acknowledge that I promised you a banger this morning. So yes, stick with me on this video. Before I end the video, I'm going to tell you about what I'm going to do today that is going to make me money and could potentially make you money. Okay, but there's a lot to talk about right now because they got me. They got me on Friday. I saw what move we saw on Thursday. The SPY was 348. Opened at 348, went all the way up to 368 on Friday. So I was like, okay, we expect some consolidation on Friday. Sorry, that happened on Thursday. We're expecting some consolidation on Friday. So I expected the market to go down and drop a little, but I also expected it to bounce higher, which it did not. But I'm going to share with you the inflection points on the SPY of support and resistance, which we see, which would help you trade. So understand, last week, the low end on the SPY, we have Monday 357, Tuesday 355, Wednesday 356, Thursday 357, and Friday 356. So for people that think we're still going to drop, and for those who just joined, which are a lot of you, I just mentioned that we saw support on the SPY all last week at 357, 355, 356, 357, 356. So if you're expecting the market to drop lower, you might be incorrect. Yes, futures are green. So a lot of you are saying, I don't believe futures are green. What are you doing, Matt? Well, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do today, but I'm not going to explain that yet because first and foremost, let me explain why we dropped on Friday. If you look at the 2-year interest rate, it spiked on Friday. It has dropped over the weekend. The 10-year, which spiked over 4%, has dropped over the weekend. The US dollar, which spiked on Friday, has dropped a little over the weekend. The UK just put in a tax savings for all of their people. That should actually weaken the US dollar. Weaken the US dollar means a stronger economy for the US, a stronger stock market. So when you see the futures are green, don't fool yourself and say, I'm going to buy puts at open. The stock market is going down, because understand, and I tweeted this, we have support, or we could potentially have support at the 200-day moving average, okay? So as the SPY sits pre-market, oh my God, we're back at 362. I thought we were gonna be at 360, 361 pre-market, which kind of makes sense. Let's talk about support and resistance really quickly for the SPY. So I just mentioned the levels 5 days last week, the bottom 355, 356, 357, okay? Over and over again. So we know that's a level of support. The next level higher is sitting right at 360, okay? We passed that pre-market. Futures are green, so we're back at the levels that we were at 1 p.m., at 2 p.m. on Friday, which is what I expected. I expected consolidation from 370 on the high end where it rejected. I expected it to go to 361 and bounce to 363. And from 363 on the SPY, then the market decides, is it going up or down? So that's easy as pie. Let's talk about how you can make free money, okay? Real quick. You'll see a link below from moomoo, which is the new app that I started using about 2 weeks ago now. You sign up for an account. You just open an account. You don't even have to put money in. You get one free stock. One free stock. Your value could be $60, $17. I got a share of Coinbase, which is like 60 something dollars. So you get one free stock. You deposit $100 into moomoo. Guess what? 4 free stocks. So that's like free money. You put in $100, you're probably going to get $100 of stock. You put in $2,000, you get 15 free stocks. So again, we're looking to make money. We're looking to take advantage of these institutions, these banks, hedge funds, things like that. We're looking to take advantage of the market. Well, nothing better than free money. So that's moomoo. Now let's talk about what I do every morning pre-market, and I suggest you do it pre-market and during the day. I want you to look at 3 things, and I just mentioned them before. The 2-year interest rate, the 10-year interest rate, and the US dollar. Because as a whole, understand, tons of big money accounts are on margin, okay? So as the market drops, they have margin calls the next week. When they have margin calls, they have to borrow money. When they borrow money, you're looking at the 2-year interest rate, okay? You're looking at the US dollar because it's the cost of borrowing money. So let's do it together, because I do it during the day. I have it up. Not only am I watching the SPY on the 1 minute, the 3 minute, and the 5 minute, and I'll explain those increments in a second, I have to look at the interest rates. So let's go to the 2-year first. It's at 4.41. Understand it was at 4.50. So it's dropped a full 2% or 8 basis points. That is a positive for the market. That's why you're seeing futures are green right now. Then I'll look at the US dollar. Oh, the US dollar looks like it's coming down as well. And keep in mind, these can change quickly. You can see interest rates during the day all of a sudden spike up 10 or 15 basis points, and that makes it very expensive. And if you see that happen, the market will go down. The same way if you see a drop in interest rates during the day at any point, and sometimes it happens at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m., noon. But again, you want to have this on your screen. So the US dollar is down a little as well. We'll go to the 10-year as well. The 10-year, which has dropped under 4%, is now at 3.92%. So again, all those three indicators are telling me it's not a surprise that futures are green. But again, the markets did fool me on Friday, so I'm not perfect. I was expecting consolidation on Friday, but not all the way down to 356, which again is support, okay? So as far as now, I promised everybody a banger today, all right? So everybody that's watching, you're like, all right, Matt said he was going to give us a play of the day. So here's the play of the day. There's nothing pre-market that I'm going to tell you, go into this because it's going to go up. But what I'm going to do is if you hit subscribe, I'm going to go on live at some point during the day. I'm going to come on live when I see a perfect entry. And I'm going to trade live. I'm going to tell you exactly what the position is. I'm going to be playing the SPY. Okay, so I'll give you a heads up. I'm going to be playing the SPY, which is the market direction. I'm going to either be playing calls or puts, but here's the key thing. I'm going out till Friday. So you have you have options that expire today, Monday, options that expire on Wednesday, options that expire on Friday, okay? I'm telling you in advance, I'm going out to Friday. Why? Because it's safer. If you pick an option today and it expires today on the SPY and you're wrong about direction and you're wrong immediately, boom, you just blew up your account. Nobody wants to blow up their account. So again, my play of the day, I'm going to go on live. You have to subscribe and push notifications. So when I go live, it'll be like, oh, Matt's live on YouTube. Oh, shoot. He must be entering his trade right now. So again, Matt, are you a bull or a bear entering today? I still have some bullish sentiment. I'm not a bull or a bear. I'm undecided. I will be following market direction. But understand, if we go down to 357 on the SPY, guess what? I'm a bull. I'm going to be bullish as can be because we found support at 355 to 356 and 357. So if we were going to bottom on the SPY today, I would look to get in around 357. With that said, I'm going to look to see if we have support at 360. If we have support at 360, I can easily, if we bounce at 360, I can easily get into calls and ride them up to 363. So this is the strategy and this is the planning process. And again, going out till Friday allows me the time to be correct because I was faked out this past Friday. I believed what we saw on Thursday, okay? We were at 348. We went quickly from 348 all the way up to 367, 19 points on the SPY. It was the third largest turnaround intraday in the history of the stock market. So you have to take a step back and you say to yourself, do I believe that or not? And if I believe it, why would that be true? Okay, it could be true because we've hit the 200-day moving average, okay? So we're going to find some support. That's just a technical analysis. If we break the support line, which could happen because we are going to recession next year, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, one of the banks came out this morning, they said 50% chance we go into recession. Kathy from ARK already said, we're in recession, just no one's acknowledging that. So I am in between both of those theories. I think we could be in recession in some specific industries already, and we're definitely heading there over the next 3 to 6 months. Now, it doesn't mean the market's going to tumble because earnings are going to have a huge effect on the market this week. When I said there's a lot going on this week, it's going to be earnings related. You're going to look at companies like Bank of America that came out this morning and they beat by like 5%. They were estimated at like 77 cents per share. They came in at 81 cents a share. Now I'm looking at more speculative plays like a Netflix, okay? Netflix seems to not do well in quarter 1 or 2. They do better in quarters number 3 and 4. We're coming up to a quarter 3 report as we are in quarter 4. So I'm actually looking for Netflix potentially to bounce higher. Now, the play isn't going to be Netflix this week. I won't be buying Netflix options based on earnings. But if I was going to look to play Netflix options or the Netflix earnings period, I would look at Roku. So you're looking at Roku, which hit a high last year of $490 a share. which is currently sitting at $49 a share. Okay. Their valuation now is $6 billion as compared to $600 billion. Or was that right? No, $60 billion or 66. That's what it was. Or maybe it was as high as 72. Sorry, don't want to give you incorrect math. But understand, they're off 90% from their high last year. So people say, okay, well, maybe Roku should be valued at $3 billion. Yes, there are companies out there like Carvana that are struggling where you don't really know the correct value. But I know Roku is a streaming leader. I know streaming stocks are bringing in more revenue. I know Netflix has an idea about bringing commercials. In fact, I'm about to cancel my Netflix, to be serious with everybody, because Netflix offered me a pricing plan of $6.99 a month. Now they're telling me for every hour of Netflix I watch, they're going to bring in 5 to 6 minutes of commercials. Well, what does that sound like to you? Because to me, that sounds like something called TV. We watch TV. Every 10 or 12 minutes, we get 2 minutes of commercials. So you go through a 48-minute show, you get 12 minutes of commercials. Okay. Netflix, you go through a 48-minute show, they're going to give me 6 minutes of commercials. So you're telling me I'm going to have half the commercials and I should pay you guys $7 or $8 a month. That to me is baloney. Let's keep it clean. So what I am going to do is I'm going to cancel my Netflix this week. Okay. So again, strategy for Matt is watch the inflection points of the SPY. Let's talk about it real quick. And I'll tell you 3 other stocks that I am looking at this week and then I have positions. Okay, so the SPY is sitting at 362. So what do I expect to happen at open? Then we'll talk about 3 different stocks that I'm looking at that seem to have support or have found support. I'm not saying they've completely bottomed, but they're pretty beaten up. And yes, I mentioned one of them, Roku, already. Okay, so the SPY is sitting at 362. So let's talk at open. If you're going to see red today, you're going to see the SPY drop under 360. So you're going to see it touch 359. Now, if you see support at 360, even if we drop off open, if you see support at 360, understand I'm going to be a bull. I'm getting into my trade at 360 on the SPY. Now, that doesn't mean I'm jumping in with 2 feet. Say the SPY drops and everybody that's listening right now is saying, okay, Matt's going bullish on the SPY. Yes. What do? The first position I buy might be like 2 contracts that expire Friday. I might pay $800 or something like that, understanding that I have another $800 or $1,600 sitting on the sidelines for the same position. If you're trading a small account and I opened up a micro account, meaning a $100 account that's up to $132, what would I trade if I had a $132 account? Well, I would look for an option that is probably going to be a 40-cent option or $40 option so that if I need to average down and it drops to $30, great, I can buy 3 more with the same small account. I can get better entry. Remember, small account or large account, it's all about the percentage you're turning around. Now, for those of you who follow SOC Trading, which is the group that I'm part of, for those of you that are on our Discord, our public Discord, private Discord, on our public Twitter, our play of the day or our stock of the day that you're watching is Carnival Cruise Lines, okay? Now, we're not saying you're going to go bullish on Carnival or bearish on Carnival, but let me just look at Carnival real quick because Carnival fell the other day. And when it went to $7.77 and then $7.90, I said it'll be back under $7. What happened subsequently after that last week? Towards the end of last week, it fell to $6. So understand, first, you have to understand the movement of the stock. I knew Carnival was going back down. Now, what did I see towards the end of last week? And it's amazing that SOC, because I don't pick the public watch list for our Discord. We have other members that do that for us. But Carnival had demand going into last week. Carnival was bought up for 3 straight days on the daily. They did sell off on Friday, which was consolidation. Carnival went as low as $6.11, and now it's trading at $7.13. I got in my options at $7.06 on Thursday. But as it's trading, my entry, and I wouldn't suggest entry for anybody as market opens, and it looks like Carnival's up 3.37%. Okay, but I would suggest if Carnival goes back down to the $7.13 range, $7.15 range, $7.18 range, if there's a drop on market open, I would be bullish Carnival. Why? Because I saw Carnival run up to $7.77 or $7.90. And understand from the close, that's a full 10% higher. Now, I'll give you another similar play. Last week when Delta came out with earnings, and I think that was, what day? It was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It was one of those days. Delta was up 4.6% pre-market. And I said, there's a trading idea because it'll likely come back down. So Delta came back down to $30, which was great entry because then it went up to $31.08. So are we done playing with Delta? No, because Delta is a buy for the rest of the year. So anytime I see the market get beat up, airlines get beat up, I'm going to enter Delta calls. Does it mean I'm entering calls for Friday? No, I'll go out to possibly February, which will give me 4 months. Why? Because I'm bullish Delta. Delta came out with their earnings, okay? Delta came out with their forecasting. We're approaching the end of the year. A lot of people travel over the holidays. Now, what could hurt Delta or Carnival would be a resurgence of the flu, would be a resurgence of COVID. If we don't see that, then there are two safer Dow plays. So when people are saying, oh, the market's not done, Michael Burry, right, the big short guy, everybody knows him, extremely smart. He says the markets can fall another 50% from where we are. Me, I would find that hard to believe. I would take a look again at Carnival and I say, okay, they have a valuation of $8 billion. Are they worth $4 billion? Well, right now, with all the shipping and container issues, if Carnival was to take their entire fleet of cruise ships and retool them to freight ships, to cargo ships, they would be worth at least $7 billion. It's a fact right there. So if Carnival's valuation is $8 billion, they'd be worth less $7 billion. Do I think the stock market can drop another 50%? Heck no, I don't. I mean, there's no reason to be extremely bullish. I don't think the stock market's going to rip and everybody's going to be like, oh, I missed that 20%. But what I do believe is I'm now looking at buying some dips. Whereas for weeks on end, I was a bear. And every time the market spiked, I was going to puts. I flipped the switch a week or two ago, and now I follow market direction because I don't think we're just going down. If we're just going one way and the elevator is going to drop, then every time it spikes, you buy puts. If we're in a bull market like we were in the back end of 2020 and part of 21, then every time the market dips, you're buying calls. So right now it's extremely tricky. That's why I'm going to be day trading today because I can't tell you if my position is going to be calls or puts. If the market spikes and let's say the SPY rips and we hit 370 again, just like we did on Friday, what would I do? SPY puts. SPY puts at 370. Right? Now, if the SPY drops to 356, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and if you missed the beginning, I would suggest you go back. Okay, but I mentioned the last 5 days of trading. The bottom end on the SPY, I'm going to mention this again, was 357, 355, 356, 357, 356, Monday through Friday of last week. So if you're saying to yourself, I've got SPY 350 puts, there's a good chance, in my opinion, because everything is my opinion, that we're not hitting that this week. That we're not dropping under 355, 356 in the SPY. And as we sit at 361, 362 pre-market, it's only 2% lower. It's only 2% lower for us to break through. But I'm saying in my opinion, do not think that's going to happen. Now, if we look forward or fast forward a few months, what could happen, and this is for everybody that's here, in the beginning of next year, understand come February, all of the EU, all of the Europe is going to no longer buy gas and energy and oil from Russia. Okay? It's supposed to be one of the coldest winters on record. So yes, come February, and they're only going to start speaking about it probably as we enter the new year. They'll probably bring it up right around Christmas time. So from now into Christmas time, I do think the market's going to be volatile, but I don't think we're dropping to 320 on the SPY. I don't think the S&P is going to 3,200. I think we basically found a base. We tested 348, 349. We found a base at 355, 356. And 2 weeks prior, if you go back 2 weeks, let's understand the 3 shitty days in the market. The base or the bottom of the SPY was 359, 357, 359. So you're right in that range. And that we saw 2 weeks ago, you're in that range now. So again, I'm looking for support for the entire week, okay? And I'm going to be here every day at 8:30. So if you want to hear me process that day's market action, Come at 8:30, you'll find me. If you want to open an account and get free money, we have the link below for moomoo. As far as what I'm going to trade today, again, please subscribe and push the follow the notifications because I am going live today at some point with a trade. I already explained the setup for the trade is going to be a SPY call or put based on support and resistance of the SPY. I've already spoken about those numbers, but I'll just recap them real quick for you guys. 357, 360, 363, 367, 370. Okay? So once I see support, which means a baseline, I can be bullish. Let's say I miss a bullish run and I'm like, oh, I was doing something. I was taking my kids to school. I was out shopping for groceries. I was shooting a video for YouTube and I miss entry. And the SPY is sitting at, let's say, 367. What would I do? I would sit on the sidelines until I saw it going to 370. And then I would come on and do a live stream and say, okay, here's what I'm looking for. I already mentioned I'm going out till Friday. And because the SPY is at 370, I would be looking for puts because I think that will be a resistance level. And I'll be looking at this trade and I'll be paying this much. Now, here's the catch. Let's say an option that I'm going to purchase, or for instance, you're going to purchase an option. If you have a smaller account, you're looking at a $48 option, let's say. Never pay the bid or ask. Always assume that you would be down on your play like 10%. Just at any point. It doesn't matter if you get that buy or you don't get that buy. If you're going to pay $48, I would say to you, put in a bid for $44. If you get it, you just saved 10% of your trade. And you're going to get it. How do I know? Because all of my trades at some point or another, even when I call entry perfectly, I say, okay, I'm going in here and it spikes up and I'm like, hey, I'm up 40%. I'm holding, I'm looking for 100%. And then what happens later in the day, all of a sudden that same position that I was positive 40% is now negative 10%. And if I put in my ask or my bid under 10%, like I'm suggesting to you all, I would have got the same trade. I'd be in the same positions. I could have done that for 9 out of my past 10 trades, and 8 out of my past 10 trades have been winning trades. And the one trade that I paper handed last week would have been a winning trade. So that's the exact reason why you give yourself enough time to be correct. Because you have a winning strategy. If you shorten the time, you have a chance to hurt, damage, blow up your account. If you give yourself more than enough time, then you'll be fine. If you average down the correct way, which I like to do, okay, not everybody does that. A lot of people use stop losses. But when I find a good position, I find strategy, and I give myself enough time, I have the intention of averaging down if needed. I also have to know what my exit strategy is. And sometimes on my exit strategy, and here's a tip for everybody. How do you pick an exit strategy? Okay. So for me, I look at the low end of the day. So whatever option I'm looking to buy, say the day range is $126 on the low to $178 on the high side. Okay. And I got in at 130 or 140. How am I going to pick my exit? I go to the low on the day and I like to double that. I say, if I got the perfect entry price, I'm going to double that. So whatever the option is, I'm in an option that goes from 80 cents to $1.50. I got it at 90 cents. My exit strategy would be 80 cents times 2, which would be $1.60. If it doesn't hit it today, I'm okay to hold. 100%. Okay, so that's how I'm trading. Please hit the subscribe button, notifications, because I will be going on live at some point during the day when I see an A+ setup, and it's going to be quick. It's going to be a 2 or 3 minute live stream and be like, okay, I said I was going on live. Here's the position I'm looking at. Here's where it's cost right now. It's going to be a $3 option. I'm not paying $3. I'm going to put in my bid at $2.70, which is 10% that under, and I'm going to leave it. And then I'll come back to you guys tomorrow morning. I'll be like, yeah, 280. And you'll be like, yeah, I paid 280. I'll be like, okay, great. It went down to 270. That was my entry. I sold it 350, or the current cost is 370 and I'm holding for X. You always have to know your exit. So do I think the market could be green every day this week? Heck no. Do I think the market's going to be red every day this week? No. But I'm telling you, if I had to pick, and I'll tell you for the full week, I would say 356 on the low end of the SPY, and I would say 370, possibly like 370 and change on the high end for the entire week, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's how I'm going to trade. That's my strategy going into this week. Hopefully you all appreciate that. I'll see you guys later. Again, I'll be on live here, and if you're on my Discord, I'll be on all day today. Thanks so much for joining me. Please